Hello everyone, this is Big Sam and I'm back with another Warframe video, and for the Halloween season I decided to start with the Skeleton Warframe. And without further ado, I'm gonna start with his skills. So the passive is pretty straightforward. You have a 25% damage reduction on damage from AoE attacks like heavy gunner, ground pounds, or all that, and there is a 25% chance to avoid all the, well, not all, but there is a 25% chance to avoid weapon damage. So every bullet coming towards you, there's a 25% chance it's not gonna hit you. But it's kind of pretty low because you're gonna be still hitting. You're gonna be still getting hit 3 to 1 times. For the first ability, we got Zata's Whisper. It adds void damage to your weapon, which creates a bubble around the enemy that sucks the bullets towards the point of impact of the bullet or the shot that caused the bubble to spawn. And it's really good because it doesn't only attract your own bullets, but if an enemy is standing in front of you and you shoot them and they try to shoot back, if you don't kill them in one shot, if they try to shoot back, their bullets will basically be sucked to damage them as well. It's not really used for like that whole bubble thing is not offensive, so the enemies damaging themselves isn't gonna be basically anything because like their damage is gonna be pretty weak with all the armor and stuff. And so basically it's gonna be for adding a second instance of damage to your weapon. Same thing like how Saren does with her Toxic Lash. But this one's going to be void damage with a different effect, which is the bubble. And now to the second ability, it's called Grasp of Lock, or Lock, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not fluent in void tongue. But what it does is it steals all the weapons from a set number of enemies in range around you, and it scales with range. And basically, as you can see, at start, it's 6 weapons stolen. And it's really good. You have like those turrets floating around you that you can basically turn off your brain halfway and just run around and everything is gonna die. And there's not much to it, just it's gonna need a lot of range because we're gonna be using that because Xaku would seem to have like at the first look, for someone who haven't tried the Warframe, you're gonna see that like, oh, one of his abilities is basically 3 abilities combined that you can scroll between, but really only one of them is useful. And speaking of which, we go into ability number 3. So it has 3 variants: accuse, gaze, or deny. So accuse basically transforms the enemies to be your allies for a set duration. Like you create a rift, like those void rifts from the relic missions, but that basically changes the enemies to act as your allies and start shooting other enemies. And it's pretty useless. It's not like its main use is crowd control. It's not so much of like a DPS increase or anything. And you have deny, which is you fire a void beam from your hand that doesn't do anything really, just lifts the enemies up and deals a pretty weak amount of void damage. And I don't think it's like, at least at its current state, anywhere near a useful ability. So what we're gonna focus on is gonna be gaze. And gaze does what it does is you spawn these like tentacles or roots that basically bind an enemy in their place and makes that enemy invulnerable. But there is a large area around that enemy that basically is a no armor, no shield zone. So with enough strength, you reduce 100% of the enemy armor and shields, which basically is a massive damage increase for our turrets, because that's basically the main combo that people use. And for me, I decided on a different approach, and I'll show you that in a minute. But let's keep going for Xaku's own abilities. So Xaku's fourth ability is the Vast Untime, which is really awesome. Like, it's a really awesome concept, in my opinion. So what it does, you shatter your shell and turn into that funny looking skeleton guy. And if it's a prime, it's a shivering skeleton guy. It's a little bit too cold for them, I guess. But what it does is all the enemies hit by those shattered pieces that you basically throw out of your body are slowed, and you get a flat 75% chance to dodge all like incoming shots. And it basically the best part about it is it pauses the timers of all of your other abilities. So let's say, oh, Zata's Whisper takes 35 seconds till it expires. If you cast the Vast Untime, you have 25 seconds where the countdown for this buff to expire is completely stopped. And what you're gonna want to do is keep the Vast Untime up all the time, and that will basically mean you don't have to refresh your buffs as much, just have to run and gun and eventually like recast the Vast Untime. And so for the change I was talking about, I decided to replace the Lost. I don't want to stay in one place basically, or sometimes accidentally scroll and use a different ability that would basically get me killed, because Xaku's a little bit of a glass cannon. But I was, testing, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and what he told me changed the whole game for me for Xaku. And basically, shout out Scythemaster. He's one of my first subs, one of my first friends that I've gained through this YouTube gig. And I really appreciate this guy for suggesting to use Ophanum Eyes instead of Xaku's 3. So what Ophanum Eyes does is it slows enemies, and it keeps basically reducing their defenses little by little the more they stand in front of you. So you have that area in front of you that basically is again, no defenses and no movement zone for the enemies, because the slow ramps up as well. So, and we're gonna stuff a lot of range into that to grab as much weapons as we can for Grasp of Loke, so that the range on our Ophanum Eyes will end up being 50 meters in front of us. And so without further ado, let's go check the build. So I have like gathered all the range I could get, got overextended, got stretch, I got cunning drift. And the other thing that we will need is strength for making the Zata's Whisper deal more damage, and the weapons as well from our Grasp of Loke deal more damage. And also, to make our Ophanum Eyes slow and remove armor harder, you know, like faster. So like at this rate, I'm removing 24% of the enemy resistance per second they're standing in front of me. So I'm basically stripping them fully in 4 seconds, and that will become less time when we fully stack Malt Augmented, and whenever we have growing power ready, and like once we deal status, once we perk status with our main gun, our primary, we will get 25% extra strength, so that will help us to further increase that percentage of defense reduction. And so basically it will get to the point where enemies will stand out in front of us for like 2 seconds, maybe less, and then they have no armor. So for strength, we go Growing Power, go Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, and Umbral Intensify. You need to rack up as much strength as possible to offset the minus 60% strength from Overextended. Because again, Overextended is needed, because with Overextended, Stretch, and Cunning Drift, we can steal up to 15 guns from our enemies. 15. You have 15 guns floating, shooting enemies in every direction around you. Like, enemies will die before you even know they were there. And so, with that, because also we're going to be using Blind Rage, we're going to need a lot of energy. And we're going to need a lot of duration, so that we don't have to recast the Vast Untime too many times. So, we're going to be using Prime Continuity to give us a little bit more duration, and also to offset the duration penalty from Transient Fortitude. And we're going to be using Prime Flow and Arcane Energize for our energy upkeep. Well, for maximum energy and energy upkeep. And then in the last slot, we're going to be using Rolling Guard to get us out of dicey situations, like when there's too many enemies around us, or if we get affected by any status that we need to cleanse off of ourselves. We're going to be using that for that reason. And also we're going to be using Malt Augmented. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but we're going to be using Malt Augmented to further stack our maximum strength. So basically at best, we're going to have 248 and 60 from Malt Augmented, and the occasional 25 from Growing Power. So we're going to have about 328% strength, which is going to be allowing us to strip 32% armor or shields per second. So basically less than 3 seconds the enemy is fully stripped, if they could even survive your guns and your own damage, like your floating guns and your own actual guns that you're holding. And I tried this setup. I was literally talking to my friend because I was facing a lot of trouble playing Xaku, because Xaku is super low on energy, on shields and health. You can see 353 shields, 359 health. It's not really that much. So what we do is we steal enemy guns, use our Ophanum Eyes, and we don't even need to shoot. Just stand there and look pretty. Well, pretty spooky. But yeah, it's just that. Just a little note, the vast untime is not gonna be um affecting our Ophenemize since it's not a Xaku ability. So just keeping in mind that you're gonna have to recast that every now and then. And also, um, Zata's Whisper is good on all Warframes, but it's the worst on Xaku themselves. Like, for some reason, it's super weak because it doesn't benefit abilities for a Warframe that kind of uses, like, relies on an ability to deal the most damage, which is kind of crazy. Like, you know how Rhino has Roar, and that can buff your abilities damage as well, but Zata's can't. Like, I'm not saying like make it buff all the abilities, maybe make it buff the abilities only when it's Xaku that's using it, but I don't know, it's just my opinion. And also today, I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw a post from Pablo, and he was showcasing a an augment for the vast untime. I'll put that link in the description, and you all gotta check that out. It looks dope, and I'm interested to know how it works. It creates that kind of rift that procs void status and I think deals void damage to enemies. Why did I say it like that? Deals void damage to enemies, and I think it's pretty interesting. It's coming out with the new update in 5 days or 6 days. The Valis Undermines, and I'm really hyped up for that single update. I really like Noko's design, and there's gonna be 3 more augments they're gonna be releasing with it, but I don't know for who. But I just saw the video randomly on Pablo's account, and it looked interesting to me. And as I've already been working on the Xaku video, I thought I have to mention it, and I'll put it in the description. So I believe that has been it for this video. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for people who support me, and just don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video. Tell me your thoughts. If you want me to change something, if you want me to post something specific, if you want me to play a specific game, I'm open to all suggestions. Even if you don't like me, just tell me what you don't like about me or about how I make my builds. All comments are welcome. I'll try to reply to everything. And until next time, have a good luck, be safe, and see you in the next one.